Well, hello, good people. Happy Wednesday. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. It is a beautiful day here in Cleveland. Don't know why I decided to spend today to do my hair. But anyway, I was inspired by a family member in Charleston to do a braid out. I actually, I have done braid outs, and you might be able to check those out on my channel. I'm not sure I posted any of those, and there's a reason why. It's because my hair was colored at the time. So, as we have these discussions about natural hair, you start understanding that there's a vast difference between natural colored hair and natural gray hair, and I'm finding out those differences, and as I find those differences out, I come and I share them with you. So anyway, my hair has gotten to a length where I think I could pull off a braid out, and as you can see, my coils were a lot looser when I had color with less frizz, but this gray is just comes with frizz. And again, I'm not opposed to it, but we got some different textures going on here. We got the back is, because I still have a little black, the coils are a little more defined. This is fresh out the shower. I just washed it. I did use a little shimmering lights, which is the purple shampoo, to help brighten up the grays, as well as my Weedad, which is my Love moisturizing shampoo and conditioner. And I leave that on while I'm cleaning the rest of me, and then I go ahead and I rinse that conditioner out, and then I use my Weedad leave-in conditioner, which, as you can see here, is my moisture lock. I'm extremely generous with that because, again, with a braid out, I do my braid outs as well as my so I'm just putting that all over before I actually detangle. I haven't detangled yet, so I'm putting that on here to kind of help with the detangling process. And again, I'm generous with that. This is my second dollop, so I'm going to go ahead and just spread that all over. And as I move to the side there, you can see I have all types of products for people, because again, and here's my disclaimer, I am not a licensed cosmetologist. I am not a licensed hair care professional. So what I am doing and helping people to do is to embrace their natural hair, and I'm here for it because, again, my journey has been, I have had to try to rely on people posting their experiences, or helping me to select products. And what hasn't really been happening is an honest somewhat approach. And I don't know if people are being dishonest. I think people are just posting their experience. So if you have soft curly hair, you're doing your hair, you're using products, I'm going to look and say, oh, that looks nice. I want that style, and I'm going to buy those products, and it's not going to work the same for me because my hair type is different. And as I'm learning with this gray, you're going to learn different stuff. So this is why I'm posting my experiences. This is why I do other people's hair. This is why I have these products, to see what works on other people's hair, my daughters or anyone else who's trying to embrace their natural hair. So that's what I do. So, I have been natural since 2004. I do consider myself an expert in my hair anyway, and in natural hair. I have been natural since 2004. I have been without my colored hair since 2021. So again, I'm learning on the go. I've allowed my hair to grow back, so now I'm trying to do some styles that I used to enjoy when I did have color treated hair, which changes, your hair's type. So, but now that I'm getting a little length, and I'm getting, I'm able to try and do different styles, because that's the purpose to me. Like, I love short hair, but it does take away your, ability to try different styles and be flexible and everything. thing. So, and you can't have a bad hair day. You know, there's no such thing as a high puff when your hair is that short. So, you know, like I said, it also gives you the option to be able to just, you know, put something around and, you know, put it up and go. So, there's my leave-in conditioner I use, and I'm gonna also show you this. Before I go any further, this is the oil that I am currently using for my scalp, and this is a, as you can see, it's a caffeine and castor oil. And then what I'll do is I'll, you know, open it up a little bit, not too much, because I don't want it, because this is just for my scalp. So see, that's enough. So then I'll just take it, because it has that tip where it's where you're able to, you know, squeeze out. It's gonna run all down my face, but that's what I do. And I just take that and I just go through and I put that in my scalp, because, you know, having a hydrated scalp and not dry scalp is very important, and I'm going to show you why. Because, you know, occasionally, like I said, I'll try different styles and I will, you know, pull my hair back. It is very important that you do not, when you feel your hair pulling, listen to your hair. If your hair is pulling, something's happening, okay? If it's hurting, something's happening. You know, and I learned that the hard way with my daughter. She had a hairstyle once where she had bobby pins in it, and she was complaining about the bobby pins, you know, all night. And I kept saying, you know, oh, just suck it up, you know. And the next day when we looked at that hair, it was those bobby pins had dug a groove in her scalp. So listen to your hair. So I'm saying that to say, I had a style, and I, you know, oftentimes when my hair needs done, I'll pull it back. So this particular time, you know, I guess I had some hanging in the front, then I had a band pulling the rest of it back, and it was tight. Like I had a, you know, I had used one of these elastic ponytail holders, and I cut it, and I just used that as my tie. And it was hurting all day. I just had a headache. And lo and behold, I went to look, and I had like a gaping hole in the top of my head, like gaping. It was like bald, like gaping, like you could see my scalp. It was like that big. I'm actually going to put a screenshot I'm like, whoa. You know, so I parted my hair and I looked and I'm like, oh no, it's missing there. So I went to the store and I bought some, you know, stuff because my mother's hair was growing back. Well, you know, she went through chemo, so, you know, her hair was in the process of growing back. So I'm like, let me go try to find some oils to help with her regrowth. So I came across a different oil, it was biotin, and I bought that for her, and then I bought this for me. And I said, well, I'm going to use different just to see which ones work, you know. So I gave her that one. I used this one, and then, you know, like I said, we'll see. Her hair is back. So obviously the biotin worked as well. But I'm showing you this gaping hole because maybe you could see, you can see. Look at that. This is the regrowth. You can see those little curlies? You see how short those little curlies are? That's because that's where I was bald. Okay? And I'm going to show the picture of what it was looking like beforehand and now what it's looking like. You see the little swirls where the hair is growing back, or has grown back. But again, listen to your hair. When your hair is pulling and it's like, ouch, this gray is extremely dry. You can't leave your hair dry. You cannot. And I don't care if you're going to mess your style up or whatever you're going to do, you have to hydrate your scalp. So I'm just scrubbing that in. And as far as the braid outs go, okay, so I did, you know, also spray in some Miracle Milk from Azani, And again, I'm going to detangle and then I shall be back. All right, so what I use to comb out my hair, wide tooth comb, that was it. Sectioned it off because I'm going to style this in the side part. And, you know, just going to braid it down. It won't be cute. It's going to be a nice little, excuse me, plaits. And so I left out the back section. I don't know what this part's looking like. But I left out the back section because I'm going to start there. And these are going to be not so small plaits, but this will probably be two plaits in the back. I don't know if you could see that because, so I'm going to really do 2 plaits back there. And then I'm gonna, you know, do the other section. And when I finish that, well, this is very important. So the products I'm gonna be using for this. Okay, so I do my braid outs on wet hair because I like the definition better. Obviously the water is gonna, you know, lock your style in. And this is what I tell people, when you're doing a manipulated style, like a twist style, or you're doing double strand twist, or you're doing a flat twist, or you're doing braids, it almost doesn't matter what product you use. That's just being honest. The manipulation itself, the twist, the braids, that is actually what styles your hair. So I could almost do this just with the conditioner that I have on here and be done with it, and it'll come out probably just the same. But just because I'm a product junkie and because I don't trust that process all the way 100%, I am going to be putting some curling cream on here. And this is by The Do. And I have used this before, and to be honest, I don't remember if I got any flakes from it. Having gray hair helps because you don't really get to see the flakes until you're wearing something and it's flaky. But for seeing it on your hair, you don't really get to see it. Now I may put some gel or jam. I'll probably use jam, you know, on these, you know, parts. Not right now, but when I get ready to actually, you know, wear it out, I might just go ahead and put a little jam, you know, on there just to give me the sleek, you know, look that I want there for that part. So this cream is kind of beige. I usually don't use any cream that has any color to it because gray will pick up colors. So I usually try to stick to stuff that has no colors. Now, if I'm going to be using any kind of oil, and this will be my first time trying to use grease, actually real grease, but I have seen people just use grease. What I do is I'm going to mix it just to see is it going to react badly. So I'm going to take my cream, and I'm going to take my softy coconut grease, and I'm going to take a little bit of it, and I'm going to mix that together with this just to make sure it actually goes together. You know, I'm not going to have any negative reactions. It's not going to clump up, or, you know, the white's not going to separate, the cream's not going to separate from the grease, you know, sort of thing, just to make sure that they gel, you know, before you do anything with 2 products that you're not sure how they interact well together. Then you want to do it in your hand first. And as you can see, that smells delicious too. It interacts well. So I will be using that combination because that grease is going to give me a little oil, you know, whereas regular oil, if you use that kind that, you know, that drips or is in the bottle, it's not going to give you the same, you know, thickness that's actually going to coat your strands. So that's what I'm going to do. And then I am going to come back after I have my little braids. All right. And I will show you what that looks like. I shall see you guys shortly. Okay, I'm going to do some of these on camera so that you can kind of see. I did the back. And as you can see, I leave my ends out curly because, you know, when you braid it all the way down, when you know, taking them down, sometimes your ends are straight. Well, mine are. and I don't like that. So I like them to have that curl at the end. And if I didn't do the curl at the end, I probably would still leave it loose and just do a finger coil. But I'm gonna leave them coily at the end, so that way when I take them loose, I have some little shape. So I'm gonna do this in a part one and a part two, because again, doing it wet has its benefits, but it also takes forever to dry. I'm not getting under the dryer, so I will take these down. Today's Wednesday. I will take them down Friday prior to my event. Friday night I'll take them out, but and they should be dry. But something you can also do, a lot of times people blow dry it because they do like to stretch, and so what they'll do is they'll blow dry it and then do a braid out. To me, you get hardly no definition. It might last a couple days for me. So doing this braid out from wet hair, like I said, my experience has been I will get about 3 or 4 days, maybe 5 days a week. I haven't done it with this gray, so like I said, I don't know. But even with the color hair, when my hair was colored, I would get about 5 days, and I can make it stretch because I'll do different stuff to the front or whatever. But just flat out from the definition, from style to having to redo, 5 days, solid. Because again, once you re-moisturize, it's kind of over, So I'm really hoping that by putting some of this softy coconut, grease on there, it's going to help me with a little bit of hydration. It's going to lock in the hydration so that I don't lose that, because what I'm only willing to do is maybe put some oil on a style like a braid out or a twist out. Once if you spray it, hydrate it, you run the risk of it being reverting. So overnight maintenance sometimes might be a hydrating spray and then a retwist, for overnight to hold it, and then for it to dry in a style instead of just free or whatever. So I'm going to do this part on camera. So what I'm going to do is I am going to part Here is the finished product. basically I can't show the back. Well, I could show the back, but you know, I took my phone off my stand. But anyway, y'all see my little patch of hair going back? You can really see it now. I'm gonna zoom in on there because you could see that I couldn't get it in that braid. I probably could have if I'd have braided a little tighter, and I might go back just because you won't see that obviously when the hair is out, but it's bugging me. But anywho, this is it. I'm probably gonna put a bobby pin up here to hold this out of my face. Again, I will put me a bonnet on tonight and take these out on Friday. It's going to be part 2, but I just wanted to show you the finished braids with the ends left out. The coiled ends left out. This is part 1. Stay tuned for part 2. Oh, and one thing I did want to add about, I don't know if I've ever finished my sentence, but more my thought, that sometimes what people do is they stretch their hair overnight or maybe even for 2 or 3 days. And by stretching, I mean you just basically wash it, condition it, maybe put your leave-in, and then, you know, pull it back in a ponytail, and or maybe, you know, wind it up, you know, around itself, and then, you know, put a ponytail holder, and then, you know, you do that, and, you know, until it's dry, and then you apply your products, and then you do your, you know, your braid out. And again, even though there's no heat involved with that, you know, I just like to do mine with, like I said, from wet, because it just, you know, to me, it locks your coils in. Just, you know, a little bit more definition with the water and the product actually working, you know, together. So just my humble opinion.